Hi, my name is Emmeline Zell, and I'm here with the Onega Media team for our new teacher special. First, we have Bethany with the new first grade teacher, Miss Meyer.
I'm Bethany Eisenbarth from the media team, and I'm here with Mrs. Meyer, the new first grade teacher. First off, welcome to Onega.
Thank you.
And how does it compare from being a substitute to going to being a teacher?
Well, I would say the first big thing is that when I was a substitute, I didn't have to have lesson plans. I came into the room and I would do the lessons that were there and then I'd get to leave. Now, being a teacher, you have to lesson plan every day and weekly and monthly, but I get more of a reward out of it being a teacher because I get to see the game throughout the year.
Did you have to prepare or take extra classes?
I did not. No, I was teaching in Missouri and then came to Kansas, so I thought maybe I'd have to, but I didn't have to take any extra classes.
So how are things going in the classroom?
They are going really well. I have 16 first graders and they are phenomenal and I am really excited to be at Onega.
How do you approach, because you guys have a split class, so how do you approach teaching?
Mrs. Yule and I work really, really close together, so that way we also have a lot of siblings in our classes and they're split. So whenever we plan, we try to plan really close together so that there's no differences at home. And doing that, it allows the kids to be on the same page along with the parents being on the same page.
Was first grade the grade that you wanted to teach?
Yes, I have wanted first grade for a long time. Yes.
What's been your favorite activity in the classroom so far?
I would say that my favorite activity, and hopefully the kids, would be our morning tubs. And so they come in the morning and they each get a tub on their table. It could be a skill for math, it could be a skill for reading, or it could be a building activity. And it just kind of gets their brains and their bodies ready for school before we start the day.
It sounds like you got it all figured out.
I'm trying.
Well, good luck this year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that interview, Bethany. Now we go to Ian, who has the new social studies teacher, Mrs. Myers.
Hello, my name is Ian Morris. I'm staying with Mrs. Myers, our new social studies teacher. Okay, and what are you most excited about for teaching social studies to 7th through 12th graders?
I am a huge fan of history and geography, and I think it's important for students to learn about things that have happened in the past, because I think it helps as you get older and maybe not to repeat some of the same mistakes that they've done in the past. Generally, you learn from history.
Yeah.
So.
This is kind of a go back to your college days. Well, how was your time at Fort Hays?
I actually didn't. I actually never even went out to Fort Hays. I took all my classes online. I did through the Fort Hays offers a virtual college, and so I did all of my classes and instruction and everything online until I got to internships. I did 4 different internships: one for math, one for science, one for social studies, and one for English. And I did all 4 of those at St. Mary's grade school and middle school. And then I did my student teaching at Centralia, Kansas.
Okay, I know some of your interests, but would you mind sharing some?
Oh, sure. I love to travel. I do scuba diving, zip lining, any type of adventure type of stuff I'm kind of game for. My dream thing is to go bungee jumping, if I can talk my husband and let me do it. He's kind of apprehensive about that. I love spending time with my family, and I like eating. I like food a lot. So.
Okay, and you said you've traveled.
We've been to Mexico. We usually go to Mexico about every other year. Been to the Bahamas. I've been to Jamaica. Been all over the states. Been to Florida quite a few times. Colorado. We've gone to. I've got a sister that lives in New Hampshire, and I've been to California. So yeah, I've been a few places. I got a lot more I'd like to go though.
Okay, and this is our final question. How do you think your 8th grade boys will react to their mom being at school?
Well, when they found out, one of them was really excited and the other one was a little bit disappointed that he wasn't going to have Mrs. Souther for social studies this year, because he really likes Mrs. Souther. I hope he doesn't like her more than he likes his mother, but they're adapting. It's an adjustment for all of us, really, because it's They're not used to having to call me Mrs. Myers. We're still working on that little kink, so, but I think it's going pretty well.
Thank you, Ian, for that interview. Now we go to myself, who is interviewing Mrs. Herder from the new 5th grade class. Hi, my name is Emily Zell, and I'm here with the new 5th grade teacher, Brittany Herder. Hello.
Hi.
All right. Well, first off, how are you liking your new position?
I love my new position because I get to work with kids more daily.
Nice. And how does it compare to your previous one?
Well, my previous job, I was doing more paperwork and sitting in an office, so it's a lot better because I get to utilize my talents as a teacher. So
Nice. All right. And how many kids do you have in your class this year?
I actually have 22 students.
All right. And what's the main focus of your class this year?
I'd say the main focus of my class this year is building relationships with my students and working to teach them engaging lessons.
That's definitely important. And how are you handling this new job and pregnancy at the same time?
Well, it's definitely taking it day by day and making sure to get a lot of sleep.
Good. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And do you have any special plans for your class this year?
Well, I'd say a lot of project-based learning so we can do hands-on activities.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Great job, Emma. Thank you, Emma. And now we go on to Eli, who is interviewing the new music teacher, Mrs. Fitzgerald.
Hi, I'm Eli Green with the Onega Media Team, and today I'm here with Miss Fitzgerald, our current band and music teacher. So, Miss Fitzgerald, how are you settling into the new role?
It's been a busy first week of school, but I am already really excited to see where the year is going to take us.
So, are you enjoying the classes?
I'm loving it. We're having a lot of fun already.
So, do you feel band will improve this year?
That is the goal. Luckily, all of the students in band are very hard workers and they want to be better, so that definitely makes my job a lot easier, and hopefully that'll give us the push that we need to move forward.
So, how do you approach teaching band and music?
Of course, I have to make sure that we are meeting the national standards for music education, but also I like to pull in music and influences that the students actually have in their everyday lives to make the class a little more fun and exciting, and I also like to make sure they're challenged.
So, would you mind telling us more about those national standards?
Some of them would be singing or playing an instrument alone, and then also with a group. We work on rhythms, pitch matching, dynamics.
All right, well, thank you for your time and have a good year.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eli, for that interview. Now we go to Lane, who is interviewing the new Kansas Reading Roadmap Coordinator, Mrs. Kelzer.
Hello, I'm Lane Press, and with me is Christy. Christy, what is KR?
KRR stands for Kansas Reading Roadmap. It's a grant-based program that we have an after-school program for about room for 50 kids, and we work on the reading skills that they've been working on during the school day. We follow closely with MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support. And so the specific skills that the kids work on during the school day, we also work on in after school. They go through several different rotations. They get a Healthy Kids section where they exercise and get to play fun games. And then they work on their individual skills, they work on special reading groups, and they work on vocabulary.
How do you get kids interested into reading?
Well, the after-school program really focuses on making reading fun. They get to work on iPads, they read fun stories, they play lots of games, we do crafts, we really try to make learning and reading fun and enjoyable.
What motivated you to take this career path?
I had been in the fitness industry for about 18 years, and I just decided I was ready for a change. Teaching was one of the things I'd always wanted to do, and this job came open, and while it's not teaching, it's working very closely with kids, and I love to read.
And what can reading help prepare kids for the future?
Reading impacts every aspect of your scholastic career. Children by the age of 3rd grade, if they have not learned to read at their grade level, it seriously impacts whether or not they graduate from high school, go to college, and the careers that they have opened up to them. So learning to read is very, very important.
Thank you, Christy, for joining me.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lane, for that interview. And now we go to Dylan, who is interviewing Mrs. Binkley, the new elementary principal and high school math teacher.
This is Dylan Bronco, and I'm here with Mrs. Binkley, the principal and geometry teacher. Okay. So first, what drove you to start a teaching career?
Really, I started teaching because I have a passion for art and mathematics, and I wanted to be able to do something where I could do both things and actually make a living and have a job, because usually if I would have just been an art major, I wouldn't have been able to find a job probably. So I did something where I could find a job with both math and art, and now it's just using the math, and I became a principal also, but I initially started teaching both subjects.
Right. And can you tell us about your experience teaching in Alaska?
When I taught in Alaska, I taught in some very small schools, one of which had only 10 kids, and I was the only teacher. And it was really a lot of fun. There were a lot of things you can do there that you can't do in regular schools. We had a lot of times where we'd be able to take hikes as a whole school, or we'd be able to do things as a whole school that it's a lot harder to find the logistics to be able to do something with a whole school when your whole school, like in Onega, it's smaller size than a lot of schools, but it's not 10 kids. It's not just a handful where you're all a very intimate group that knows each other very well. We knew each other very well and were able to do some of those things that you can't do otherwise. And it was a lot of fun. There were great experiences, and that's, I guess, probably it.
Okay, and then who are some of the members of your family?
Okay, my family is 4 people. There's myself and my husband, Mr. Binkley, who is the technology director. And then I have 2 sons, Zeke, who is an 8th grader, and Xavier, who is a 10th grader. And then I count as our family, we have 3 cats and a hedgehog also. And that's part of my family.
And then, where are some of the other places that you've taught at?
I taught for 10 years in Michigan. Then we moved to Alaska for 4 years, and I taught in Alaska for 4 different years. Kind of all over Alaska. We taught in the interior, we taught down in the islands and the southern part, and we taught in Kenai Peninsula, so I was all over Alaska. And then we came to Kansas about 5 years ago. The last 4 years I spent in Garden City, and then I came here to Onega.
And what do you hope to accomplish this school year?
Accomplishing this school year, I really hope to be able to build some relationships with students and staff, and start building a life really here where I'm able to know everyone around, know who I'm dealing with. It's a small school, which is nice for me. I like small schools. I want kids to be able to, in a big school, a lot of times kids are a number or counted as, and that's how everyone knows you by is, oh, well, that, your lunch number or whatever that you use all the time. But I want to know kids by their names. I want to know who everybody is. I want to know all the staff members. I want to really have some relationships built. And I want to start being able to see where we can go with some of the things in the school, how we can make some improvements, and how we can continue on some of the traditions that are really big positives in Onega already.
And then finally, how do you balance being a teacher and a principal?
It's hard to be both a teacher and a principal, it really is. Sometimes there are things that draw me away from the classroom, and that's hard for me because I like, as a teacher, being in class all the time. And as a principal, I have a lot of meetings that I have to attend and things like that, or if a student issue comes up in the middle of class, it's kind of hard to deal with that while I'm trying to teach as well. So I really try to give 100% to everything that I'm doing, and that finding that balance is difficult for sure. But it's really just kind of concentrating on what I'm doing at the time and making sure that I give it my all.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan, for that interview. All right, now we go to Dylan, who is interviewing Miss Krause from the middle school special ed department.
I'm Dylan Bronco and I'm here with Miss Krause, the middle school special ed teacher. Okay. So, why did you decide to go into special ed?
I like working with students, and I've always been kind of a person that enjoys working with the underdog. I'm the one that roots for the underdog, and so I always knew that I wanted to work with individuals that, I guess, had a little bit less opportunity than others.
Where did you teach before Onega?
I taught last year at Axel. I was a 7 through 12 special ed teacher there. The year before that, I taught in Maryville, Missouri, at the high school there, 9 through 12. And then I been a parent at Nebraska City Public Schools in Nebraska as well.
And where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Frankfort. I know you guys there's a big football game this Friday, but so I don't know who I'm going to cheer for. I haven't decided yet.
And how long have you been teaching special ed?
This will be my 3rd year of teaching special ed.
And finally, where did you attend college?
I went to school at Peru State College. It's a tiny little college up in the southeast corner of Nebraska.
All right, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dylan, for that interview. And this concludes today's video. Stay tuned for future content.